So one of the most common struggles I see people have with regards to almost any kind of fitness goal you may have is work schedule. Maybe you work shift work, maybe there's a big project that comes up and now you're working long, stressful hours. Work just has a tendency to get in the way. And while I'm not saying it's not hard, it is. I get it, the struggle is real, and I've done it before myself. In the past, prior to becoming a coach, I used to work different types of shift work. I worked 12-hour days, I worked night shifts, I had travel. I remember coming home to my family and being like, okay, let's have dinner and spend a little time with my son, and then I would go off to the gym and I would get my workout in, basically come right home and go to sleep and repeat the days. Like, it's exhausting, I get it. But anyway, that's enough about me. Let's talk about some strategies you can take to set yourself up for success. However, the first and most important thing you need to accept, and it's all about the mindset again, you know I talk about it all the time, and that is you have to accept reality. And this basically goes for everything in life. It's so important to not fight against reality. If it's not something you can change, then whatever that circumstance may be, it's either something you learn to work with or you let it become your reason why you can't get where you want to be. So with your work, if it is what it is and it's not going to change, you need to accept that. Now, it depends also if it's just the norm or if maybe it's some short-term thing. So what I mean by that is if your job is really stressful and long hours and really difficult, and it's just going to be the way it is moving forward, and you know that, well, now you have to accept that reality and find ways to work with it. But maybe it's just a temporary situation, okay? Maybe you have some big project coming up, it's going to take a week, maybe 2 weeks, it's going to consume you. Go ahead, back off. I mean, maybe you even take a couple weeks off, but you also have to understand the longer you're out completely, the harder it is to get started again. Objects at rest stay at rest, so that can be a bit of a slippery slope, and something's always better than nothing. So if you can get anything in, there can be a lot of benefit to that, if for no other reason, just to keep that ball rolling a little bit and not falling into the all or nothing mentality. Especially with your diet, you definitely don't want to fall into, well, I'm off anyways, what's the point? And then just going completely crazy. There's a difference between not necessarily tracking macros or whatever you normally do and just eating anything and everything. And I get it, balance can be a difficult thing. I honestly don't look at balance the way a lot of people do. I think oftentimes people look at balance as like everything that's important to you gets equal efforts all the time. Your home life, your work life, your gym life, your hobbies, your friendships, everything should get the same amount of attention or effort or whatever, but I don't think it works that way. I think balance means everything that's important to you still gets some attention, but other areas are sometimes going to need more attention. So if your work life gets really hectic and it's going to take more time, well, that means that some other areas are going to be a little bit less now, but they don't necessarily get nothing, at least not more than just a very short amount of time. So if work life starts to come up, then other areas are going to come down a little bit, whether that's gym life, home life, friendships, whatever. It's just the natural sliding scale of how life is going to work. Now, when it comes to getting your workouts in, scheduling them in can be very helpful too, especially when you don't have a lot of time. Unscheduled time just has a tendency to go away and you don't even know what happens to it. So blocking off that time and saying, I'm going to work out from this time to this time and treating it like any important business meeting or anything else that has to be done, that sets you up to make sure you get it done. Whether it works better for you to sometimes wake up a little bit early and get to the gym before you go to work or doing it on the way home. Maybe you're fortunate enough to have a lunch break that goes for a while and you have a gym close by. Maybe you can sneak in and get a workout done. That's what I used to do back in the day. I would get an hour-long lunch and I would just go in and get a quick 30-40 minute workout in. Maybe not as long as I want, but at least it's something. Anywhere you can find time to get that in, keep that commitment. Also, be okay with doing less than you maybe think you should be doing. So for instance, let's say you think you should be working out 4 days or 5 days a week, but you're struggling with that and you're only getting 2 days in. Well, when you think you should get 5 and you get 2 in, now you feel like you're failing, you feel bad about it, sometimes you feel guilty. I mean, you shouldn't, but this is kind of natural human behavior and it doesn't feel so good, and then it eventually gets to the point where, well, I'm not following the plan anyway, so what's the point? And then you end up doing nothing. Whereas if your life dictates that you're only going to be able to get 2 sessions in, at least for a while, well, if you just plan on that and say, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym twice per week now, and you hit that, now you feel accomplished. You're hitting the 2 days that you had planned on. It's the same amount of workouts as you're getting with the 5-day plan, except now you feel good about it instead of feel bad about it. So be okay with backing off when life dictates it. Now, nutrition can be a big struggle. I get it, especially if you have some kind of a shift job, especially if you barely get any breaks and you're basically going all the time and you never even get to stop and eat. That can be a real challenge, but again, it doesn't make it impossible. goal, you need to accept that and now figure out ways to work with that. So you might struggle to get all your food in. Well, make bigger meals. Eat one big meal before you leave, one big meal when you get home that takes up most of your calories. Bring some convenient, easy things to get down when you're at work. Things like protein shakes, protein bars, maybe beef jerky, things you can get really quick on the fly. And the reason I'm specifically saying protein stuff, because protein is more difficult to prepare than carbs and fat usually are. So there's limited options. So that can be really helpful as well, especially if you're trying to build muscle and get more optimal timing with your protein. You can use meal prep delivery services. There's things like Icon Meals out there. There's plenty more. That's kind of the one I know. I'm not affiliated in any way, but they'll send you your meals and then you can just take them and heat them up to make it more convenient. You can also eat more on some days and less on some days. You don't have to eat the exact same amount every single day. And if you have a hard time getting all your calories in on really busy days at work and you have some off days, well, eat more on your off days or more on your less busy days and less on your more busy days when you're working. Your weekly average calories is what really makes the biggest difference, not any singular day. You don't have to be exactly the same spot on every day. It doesn't work that way. So that's just one more reason why I love the flexibility of weekly averages. It also helps take away your all or nothing mentality you may have, especially if you feel like you have to be perfect each day. It's also a good idea to use your days off to get as much prepared as you can for when the days you work come up, because now you have more time. So you can do more things like planning out meals, even doing meal prep and bulk cooking so you can divvy it out and just eat that throughout the week. You can get more workouts in when you have more time, so use that time to get workouts in. I understand you worked a long, hard week and now you just want to relax, but the thing is, if your results and your fitness goals are a priority for you, you've got to find ways to work with it. And that's really the number one thing. Your time and where you place your energy and everything, it always comes down to priorities. And I'm not here to tell you that your fitness goals should be your priority for you. I'm not. You get to choose what your priorities are, and maybe for you, it shouldn't be. If you're a single mom working 3-4 jobs and going to school and you're having a hard time putting food on the table or whatever else, maybe you probably shouldn't be going to the gym several times a week. I don't know. I mean, it's up to you, but I have seen single moms who work multiple jobs and go to school and they crush macros every day and they work out 4 or 5 times a week. They get their cardio, they get it done. And then I have retired people who always say they don't have time to work out 2 or 3 days a week and they can never hit their numbers. Like, again, it's all about your own personal priorities and you get to choose what that is. But if you want the result, it has to be a commitment. It can't be something you're just gonna do when life is convenient, because life is always gonna get difficult. Plus, I'll say this, there's a real benefit when life gets hard and you stick it out. I'm telling you, I mean, if you think about it, whenever life gets really crazy and stressful and hard, it's almost always things that are out of your control. And while it can be easy to go, I've got too much going on, I'm stressed out, I need to take some stuff off my plate, it doesn't usually actually help you in any way. It doesn't make you feel better. I mean, it might give you a little bit more time, but you don't really feel better about it. But if you follow the plan anyways and you still execute, like, one thing that you always have control over in life, no matter what, is your exercise routine and your nutrition. And sometimes just feeling like you have some sort of control in your life can really help you feel better. It can build some wins, it can build momentum, and that can carry over into the rest of your life. So instead of looking at your fitness goals as some sort of obstacle, use it to your advantage and help yourself feel better, because it always feels good to do those things that you know you should, but you don't feel like it. You never regret getting that workout in. Even if you're really exhausted, you get there, you get it done, you feel good. It helps. So don't look at it as a bad thing, look at it as a good thing. And besides, even though this is gonna sound cliche, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. The harder something is, the more proud you are of it, the better it feels. It changes you from the inside out. It's never even about the physical result you get. It's about going through the journey and facing the obstacles and not giving up when everything in you says it's too much, I can't do this, I should give up, but you don't. And then you start getting where you want to be and you start accomplishing things you didn't think you could do. That feels amazing, and that builds so much pride and so much confidence and has so much carryover. That stuff is so much more important than any physical result you'll ever get. I promise you. It's almost like the physical result ends up being like an added bonus compared to what happens to you on the inside. So use it to your advantage. Les Brown says, the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. And I've always loved that saying because it's true. Anytime life knocks you down and keeps kicking you, but you keep going, man, There's no better feeling than that. And you really do grow from the struggle. It's the only way you grow. You don't get stronger by things coming to you easily. You grow by things being a struggle, but doing it anyways. Okay, I went way off tangent there. And that wasn't even actually initially going to be a part of this video, but there it is. I really truly believe that. But anyways, whenever the last 20 seconds of this video pops up, there will be an end screen that has a video from just a couple weeks before we were moving to Florida and I was quitting my job and I was going to try to, get my start in the fitness community. And it was kind of like a lot of emotions I had at the time. And I thought you might be interested if you're interested at all in my story. Now, fair warning, you may not even recognize the person you're going to see, but I thought you might like it. But if you're not interested in that, then you'll probably like this bottom video instead. And I hope this video helped, and hope to see you at one of those other videos.